Alright YouTube, in this video we are going to see how to insert values into the database with the form validation. You can see we have two fields, and these two fields value is going to get stored on the database, and if one of the field is left blank, it is going to show or throw an error. This is the CodeIgniter framework. You will get the source code in the description along with the steps to follow. Okay, you will see I have created the steps in the notepad and I'll paste it in the description box, and let's get into it. Fine, this is the project, and you can see it says insert into CodeIgniter with validation. If you click submit, it is going to show an error. This says the name field is invalid, the email field is invalid. So if you fill the name and click on submit, it says only the email field is invalid, but if you enter the email as well and click on submit, it is going to get stored on the database. If you click on the browse, you will see John is what we have entered right now along with the time. Fine, the date is matching with the entered date. Fine, these are the steps we are going to follow. You will get these step in the description along with the source code. These steps are divided into modules. We will cover it within 20 minutes. Fine, let's get into it. The first step is we are going to create, let's check whether our XAMPP is working or not. Yes, it's working. Now we are going to create the database and the table. For that we need to open the phpMyAdmin. So let's get into the phpMyAdmin. Let's create a database. Click on the new. The database name would be customer, and if you click on create, your database will be created. And in the next page we will create the table name. I have pasted the database name. Now it's time to create the table. Let's have the table as user, and we will have the column number 4, and click go, and we will have 4 columns. The first one is ID, second name, third email, and creator at will be the time. It's not the time, it's date. Fine. The data type would be integer, varchar, and other also varchar. And let's have the ID as an auto increment so that it acts as our primary key. Let the length be 200. Click the auto increment checkbox and click on save. Now your column is created along with the table name. Fine, your table name is user, and these are the columns: name, ID, name, email, and creator at. Fine. Now we're going to create the CodeIgniter project. For that, download the CodeIgniter project from the official website. You will have 3 versions of CodeIgniter. We will choose the third version because third is the current version. In the homepage itself, it is specified that CodeIgniter 4 is for the future. Now we are using the CodeIgniter 3. Click on the download and place it on our HC docs. You can see I have already downloaded it. It's inside the HC docs. Just extract it. This extracted folder acts as your project, CodeIgniter project, or your current project. Fine, you have to rename it. We will rename this CodeIgniter project as customer. You can open this project on the using localhost. Localhost / this project name will give your CodeIgniter project on the browser. Fine. Now we are going to open the folder in our editor, which is Sublime Text. Fine, it's in the HC docs. Just select the folder and click on select folder. It will open in the Sublime Text. Now we're going to modify the config folder. Get into the auto files, which you can find in the config folder. Auto load file. We need 2 libraries. The first one is database and the second one is form validation, because these are the 2 libraries we are going to use in this tutorial. So let the first argument be set database and let the second argument be form_validation. Fine, now we need to modify the helper URL. We need to use the site URL and the base URL. Don't worry about it, we will see this in the same tutorial. Fine, now modify the config. As I said, we are going to use the base URL. The base URL of our project would be localhost slash our project name. This is our project name. Don't worry about the error. It will go right now once we modify the database file. Fine. Paste the base URL along with the slash at the very end. Fine. Now it's time to modify the database.php file. We need to pass the database name, the username, and the password of the database. I'm using XAMPP, so the username of the default XAMPP would be root, and the password is blank. And let's have the database. Let's have the created database on the database variable. Fine. This whole module is done. Now it's time to know how the CodeIgniter loads the page, the welcome page. Fine. If you see, if you click on, if you refresh it, this welcome page is loading. We need to know how this is loading. It will go into the localhost slash our folder name, and then it will go, this is our folder name customer, and then it will go index.php, and then it will go for the controller name. The controller name here is welcome. The default one is welcome. Once you click enter, your welcome page loads up. Let's see it in the folder structure. So this is the domain name. Since we are using locally local server, the domain name here is localhost slash customer. Fine. Now the coordinator will search for the routes.php. So it will be inside the config folder, routes.php. In the routes.php we will get to know the controller name, the default controller name. As I said, the default controller name is welcome with W capital. Fine. It shows, we will get the controller name. This is the controller name welcome, and you can find the controller in the folder called controllers. The control welcome.php is the controller. Fine. Once we get to know the controller page, the controller page will run the view. Here the view, or you can say the web page, here the web page is simply welcome underscore message. It is loading the welcome underscore message page. You can find it on the folder views. You can see this is the file which is loading. Once we once we enter localhost slash our folder name, if you refresh it, the coordinator will be replaced with our channel name. Fine. We just understand how coordinator works. Now we are going to create a page. As said, as default coordinator is loading the welcome underscore message. We don't want that. We want our page to load. So our page will have some bootstrap form, as I shown you in this tutorial. Yeah, you can see this is it. We need two field with one submit button. We will edit over here. Let's have the h1. Now here we will have two field. The first one would be name, the second one would be email, and the submit button. But in the table we have three field, isn't it? The third one will be done. The third one, which is created at, which is a date, will be stored by the PHP. We don't have to worry about it. We don't have to enter it. The code will enter on its own. Fine. Now I'm just going to modify it. We need name, and we don't need the ID, but we need the name attribute. Name attribute is very important. You don't forget to add the name attribute, or else you will not get the output. Fine. It's let input type equal to text. Let's make it text, and the name would be email. Fine. So just copy it and save this. Let's add the value attribute of the input field. Fine. Now let's copy it, and we know the pages will be inside the views folder. As the welcome underscore message is loading over there, we need to save it on the views folder. We'll name it as insert.php. Fine. Now what we are going to do is, let's follow the step. Now we are going to create a controller. This controller will show the coordinator where the page is. The work of the controller is to just show where the page is. Create a controller on the controller folder. Let's name it as user controller.php. The name of the controller the name of the name of the page is should be equal with the name of the class name. So the name, both the name should be same. And you can see we need index. Once we call this controller, this will load the insert.php page which is in the views folder. Fine. Now we know, let's get into the URL. The index.php would be same, but after the index.php we need to write our controller name. Once we write the controller name, the controller will run the index function on its own. We don't have to mention index. Let's make it success. We don't have to mention the slash index. We just have to mention the controller name. It will automatically load the index. Even if you type index, it is going to show you the same view. See, now let's change it to insert, but this time it is not going to load on its own unless we specify. Let me save it. This time it is not going to load unless we specify insert along with the controller name. See, it is not showing up because we have named it as insert. If we change it to index, once we call the controller, it will load the index page. Fine. I hope you have understood. Now we have created the controller. Now we need to know how the site URL and base URL works. For that we need to get into the source code. uh, you can see in the action, at present I have filled nothing, but in the action place to we need the URL of the same page. Fine, this is what we need, but we need to pass it in a dynamic way. For that, what we'll do is we will pass the base URL. What base URL will do is, as we have marked the base URL on the config.php, it is just going to show you the localhost slash folder name. Fine, but our URL says after folder name we need two pages to be called, which is index.php and the controller name. In this scenario, the site underscore URL comes into picture. If you refresh it, you will see localhost slash folder name slash index.php shows up, but still we don't get the controller name. Here our controller name is user controller.php. For that we need to pass the URL. Oh, sorry, we need to pass the controller name to the site underscore URL. Let's pass the controller name and let's check it. And now you can see after index.php the controller name shows up. So if you refresh and click on submit, it is going to call the same page because we have set the form action in the same way. Now we are going to understand the form validation. We are going to understand the validation class. For that, when we click on submit, it is going to the controller. So for that, let's get into the controller. Now let's set the values. Let's set the rules. The rules are, the two field should be the name, the name and the email should be need to be required. We would set the rules with the form validation class. Form underscore validation is the class, and inside the class we will have a function called set rules. And this set rules will have three parameter. The first parameter will be the attribute of the input field, which is name. The second one is the identifier. We are passing the attribute. The second one is the identifier. This is for the code igniter. We have named this as capital N. Let me show you. On the previous project, you can see if we click on submit, the error shows up. This is for the error, the code igniter to identify it. And the third one is required. This is a keyword. We need to pass it inside a string. Fine. Now the same way we are going to set rules for the email input field as well. Let's pass the first parameter email, the second one is the identifier, and the third one is required. The required as well as sorry, you can see this is the capital email is for the identifier, which is for the coding data to understand the field. Along with the required, we need to pass one more thing, which is valid underscore email. So it will check both the condition. It should be email and it should be valid. Fine. Now we are going to look at run function of the form validation class. For that we need to run if else. If the code is false, if the code is unsuccessful, that means the required field is not filled, the if part will run, or else the successful part will run. Fine. If the form validation is false, then the code is going to get run, or else if the form validation runs false, we need to redirect to the same page. Now we have completed. We need to know how to use form underscore error function. If this is if this is unsuccessful, it is going to redirect this page along with the error. To show the error, we will use the php function, or you can say this is a code igniter function, form underscore error. We need to pass the attribute of the input field as the parameter of the form underscore error. Fine. Let's have the same thing for the email. If you refresh it and click on submit, oh sorry, this is not showing up because it says the xxx value is already there. We need to remove it. Say it is also not enough, we need to remove the whole attribute. Fine. If you click on submit, you will see name is required and email is required. If you either filled one of the value, yeah. Now check validation working is working or not. Now we are going to see how to use set values function. Before that, I have entered the name and click on submit. The value is disappearing on submit. If you see, I click on email and click on submit, the error is not showing up on the email, but the input field value has disappeared. This is the wrong way. For that, what we'll do is we will use the function set values on the value attribute of input field. Use the set underscore value, and inside the set value we need to pass the name attribute of the input field, which is name. Copy it and paste it for the email as well as for paste it for the email as well. Fine. If you click on enter, I think I have missed, you can see Dave is coming up because we need to change it to email. Fine. Now this would work. If one is, you can see the error is not showing up, and the value is also not going away because we have added set value. Fine. You can see the value is not going up, the value is not going out after submit. The email is not going anywhere after the submit of the after we click submit. Fine. Now we're going to create the array. Why the array? These values, the inserted values, are going to store in the array. For array, we need to create a variable and equal to array with the parenthesis. Fine. Now we are going to get the value from the input class. Input class, whatever you write inside the input field, it is going to get stored on the class called input. I'll show you this. We are going to call the class which is input, and the input class will have the post method, and this post method will have the name attribute, and we'll store it into an array, and we'll call it as associated array since we are going to call it with the named index. This is going to same the second index, which is email, will hold the input field with attribute name equal to email. Fine. And as you know, we have third field which is going to save our date. For that we have php function. We need to pass capital Y, month and date. Fine. And after that we need to These are the input field. You can see name, email and created at. These are the columns. We have filled it. Now the next step, we are going to pass the form array into the model. We are going to pass the array to the model. For that, create the model. To create a model, we need to get into the models folder, and more or less we need to create a class as like controller. It needs to extend the default model class. Let's have the name as usermodel.php. The name of the file should be equal with the name of the class, and inside the model we will have a function called create, and this create function will insert data into the database. Fine. As I said, we are going to create a function and we will insert the value into the database. This db is a class, and inside that we will have a function. We need to pass two parameters. The first one is the table name and the second one would be the array. As you guessed, the array is the associative array which we have just created. Fine. Table name and the array. We are going to pass the parameter, and this passed parameter will be used as the second argument. As you have guessed it, we are going to use the same class over here. We are going to pass the same variable inside the create function, which is inside the model class. To load the model class, what you have to do is you have to register it. This is not enough. We have passed it, and that's right. Now we have used the model, but we have not registered the model on the controller. For that, use this. We will call the load class, and we will, with the help of load class, we will load the model, and inside the parameter we will pass our model page name, which is model user model. Fine. I have Fine. After this, we need to, once this is saved, we'll go to the create, and inside the create you can see the data will be inserted. Once this is done, we will redirect to the same page, because we have just created the one page. If we have created another page, we would redirect to the another page. Since we have only one page, we will redirect it to the same page using site URL. Site URL. Inside that, we are passing our controller along with the index slash index. As you know, slash index is the function name. Fine. It is just to know that we once we click the it shows an error, because we have loaded the function. We have registered the model on the class, but we have to register the model on the function. Just cut it. It says the line number 5 is the error. Just load the model inside the function, not the class. Fine. Once you click, once you enter, let me show you the database. Now it's blank. Ignore all. You can see these values are blank. Once I enter, click on submit, it is redirecting to index function. This is a code for redirecting index. As I said, this is the identifier for us, so that the value is stored. If you click on browse, you can see the value is entered. This is the value which we have entered today. The date also matches. Let's create another field or another data and click on submit. You can see this is just one row we have. If you click on submit, if you click on browse, you will see two rows, because right now we have entered it. Fine. Don't forget to get the source code in the description. You will get these steps which I have shown you in the notepad right now, also in the description. Thank you so much for listening.